Hi, it's Kathy Cats, part two of my documentary of going through HCV treatments and how it makes me feel and what's going on with me. On part one, I don't know if the volume or um, when you're able to hear it, if it's loud enough. So if anybody's viewing this and they want to give me a little bit of feedback, I don't know, when I play it back through my laptop, it sounds very low to me. Anyway, I said that I was going to come back on and talk about some of the things I was doing naturally for myself, but also I want to let you know that I went for my scan today. And as I said in the video one, I was diagnosed back in March. Actually, I was diagnosed many, many years ago, but was told it was inactive. Little did I know that I should have taken care of it when it first happened. I thought this was something that just lay dormant until you were 70 or 80 years old, to be honest with you. And I never just gave it any food for thought because I never ever felt sick, and I still don't really ever feel sick. I still feel, the only thing I feel lately is a little bit tired, and I think that's due to just being overwhelmed by a lot of stuff that's going on in my personal life. As far as I went for my scan today, I guess that's part one of what I'm, up to finding out whether or not, the liver has any damage to it, the gallbladder. They check the gallbladder, the spleen, the kidneys, I forget what else, the liver. Um, I guess every major organ that was inside my body except for my heart, in the abdominal area. So of course it's Saturday, and it is probably Monday or Tuesday that I'm going to have to wait to get a call from this doctor, which I really don't like my doctor, and I'm not going to mention his name, but I just don't think he's very nice. I think he's very hard. The first time I ever met with him, he yelled at me. He said that I was late, which I did call his office to say I was running late, and they told me no problem, just to make the appointment 8:30. And he was just really, really mean, and he made me feel like one of those people that are just mistreated when you get this diagnosis. So uh, that's, I don't know what I'm going to do about that. Like I said, I have a lot of health issues, and this is just one of them, and I'm trying to prioritize them. So I figured this one seems, on a scale of 1 to 10, the most important one. So I'm taking this one first. So that'll be that, maybe Monday or Tuesday, and I'll get back to you. As far as, I don't have any significant um, what's the word, symptoms on the outside. I'm not bloated, I'm not, turning color. Uh, my biggest problem in life that probably affected this even more and hurried it along was, me drinking, and that goes, that I still have a hard time with. I still think about it an awful lot, and it's just, I'm 51. I started when I was 13, so maybe that's for another video. I don't know, or another playlist, as far as how I'm going to be doing with that. So far so good. I've cut out like all, alcohol so far, white sugar, white flour, bread, what else? Um, I was told, like, not to take in a lot of iron, not to take in a lot of red meats with extra iron, because the iron's no good. I'm still unsure of the coffee. That's still out. That jury's still out on that. I don't know if it's the bean. I don't know if it's the caffeine. I'm trying to find out. Anybody has any insight? Because I love my coffee, and I love my iced coffee, especially in the summertime. Um, I've been doing a lot of herbs and vitamins, which I've always kind of played around with since, since my friend Jimmy Pontadolfi turned me on to them ages and ages ago. But I do a lot of milk thistle. I do extra vitamin C. I do dandelion. I juice with beets. Citrus is supposed to be very good for inflammation and also for vitamin C. Watermelon's supposed to be very good. Beets. I use Granny Smith apples because I think they're lower in sugar. Um, what else? Aloe vera juice. I swear by. I swear by, for inflammation not only of the organ but also, for everything going on inside my body with arthritis and everything else. It seems to be helping. It seems to be giving me a little bit more what's the word, range of motion, because I'm having a problem terribly with my hip. So of course I can't take any, pain pills, and even though I don't like pain pills anyway, but I just mean over the counter type things, such as Aleve and Tylenol and all that. I mean, I'm trying to be so careful about everything, and it's just so hard. There's such a wealth of information out there, and I'm just really trying to get my own stuff turned around naturally, you know, um, and get this down as far as it could possibly go until I find out exactly where I am. So right now, my appetite still isn't the best because I've been very, I don't know, for really off on some sort of like eating plan. I only ate when I was hungry, and I ate crappy stuff. I used to. I mean, I still do. I love my macaroni. Give me a plate of sauce, meatballs, sausages. Give me a spoon. Give me the fromage. I mean, I'll eat that 100 times a week if I could. But obviously, you can't. The whole wheat is really not the same. Especially if you make a clam sauce. Um, but I guess there's gives and takes. If I do bread, I do the wraps, and I do pumpernickel, and I do half of them, and to make a little sandwich. And if I really want to make something into a sandwich, I get a very hearty full leaf lettuce. The romaine is something, or kale, but you have to really build up a taste for kale. It is a little bit bitter, so is dandelion when you buy it fresh. I usually cook it down with a little garlic and oil. I cook everything with a little garlic and oil. And saying a little garlic is kind of like lying, but I love my garlic. But supposedly garlic and onions are very good for you also, because they have flavonoids, and I'm probably pronouncing that wrong. So, but what I was saying, if you want to make a sandwich and like turkey, or skinless, and whatever it is that you think you're doing, because when I asked my gastroenterologist if I could see a dietitian, so I could have a little bit of insight onto what I should eat and what I shouldn't eat, he told me no. So I have to do a lot of the research on my own, and I do a lot of groups on Facebook now. I belong to a lot of different groups, and I'm trying to learn, but everybody has their own opinion, everybody has their own agenda. And also, again, I'm on Facebook starting a new group, for this. So just look me up on Facebook, CathieCats, CathieCats, and there's if friend me, and then I look under my groups. It's called Kathy's groups or Kathy Cats groups. I run a lot of different groups, for people that are adopted, because that's a whole other issue in my life. Candid adoption talk. If you look on the playlist, I have to continue with the story of that. But I really wanted just to document this, and then like how I'm feeling. When I first found out back in March, I was just really pissed off, to be honest with you. It took me for a loop. My life and my personal stuff is so out of control, especially back then. Things are getting better, in certain areas, but I was in such denial. Actually, I didn't want to deal with it. I wasn't in denial. I just didn't want to deal with it. I really thought that, to be honest with you, the dying was better than coming back to my life. That's really how I felt, because everything in my life was upside down, chaotic, very sad, very, very hard to get up in the morning. No motivation, no willpower. I was just caught up in a world of depression, and I'm still like trying to drag myself out of that. And of course, I don't want to, die because of anything, that's good that I have a say in, except when God like knocks on my shoulder and says, "Come on, let's go." That's different. That I can't argue about it. But this, I have a choice, and I'm gonna have to fight it. And at the same token, it's hard to fight a physical illness, and the stresses of, and I can't even say it's my for me, my agenda, my life. To me, it just seems overwhelming. My everyday issues, there's a lot going on in my life that sometimes when I pull the blanket off in the morning, I just want to go back to sleep and not wake up and not deal. And then having the health issues on top of it created just a whirlwind of very, very, very bad depression for me, where I got to the point that I didn't care. So I neglected myself from March, April, May, and in June started, end of May, beginning of June started like trying to take control back of my physical health and take control of, my, the way I'm feeling. But the way I'm feeling right now, I'm still in that, I'm in that tunnel. I'm not looking, if I look back, I don't want to turn around and go back the other way. But I've come to a decision also that I don't want to get well to come back to how my life was or is. I want to come back to a lot. Not come back. It's not like I'm going anywhere, and I probably sound very over dramatic. But I'm not going to fight all this just to, keeping the lifestyle and the problems and the stresses and the everyday things that go on with me, just to go back to that. So I have a lot of changes that I'm planning on making. Why I'm getting well, and that's what I'm planning on doing: getting well and making changes. And I know it's not going to be easy, and I know a lot of you out there that are able to watch these videos. And the only reason I'm documenting this is not for me, not for, I have no kids, so nobody's going to watch this, in my family. If you do, and you're a friend of mine, you think something bad of me, what can I say? You know, this is just who I am and what's going on with me. And I know there's people out there that I feel if I got mistreated and I got, a little slander coming my way, and I've been said things, by family members and friends and all kinds of things, and the way things get puffed up, and how people use like your illnesses and your frailties against you. I do have some people in my friendship ring, that I love and care about very much, that would never do that to me. And and I'm just really thinking about the person that's out there alone, and has to sit alone and feel bad, because nobody asks for anything in our lives. We do make poor decisions, but the one thing we can do when we make a poor decision is correct it. And sometimes we make the same mistake over and over and over and over again. And then you just have to get to a point in your life that you just say, you know what, it's not working this way. And then that's when you have to come to acceptance and deal with that and go on. And I'm one of those people that, did the same thing over and over again. And, it's kind of like an AA saying, well, actually Einstein was the one that actually said this to begin with. The definition of insanity is doing the same thing over again and expecting different results. Well, Kathy Katz says my definition of insanity is doing the same thing over again and knowing it's going to suck anyway. So that's my thing. So I'm hoping to really help people. I'm hoping to reach out to people. I just really want to be able to let people know this is probably, from what I understand, going to be a really great, one of the greater rides of my life. And and I just want to share it with you, and I'm going to show you that no matter what happens, I need support. Everybody needs support. So with that, that's just a little bit more, and as time goes on, and I feel a little bit more comfortable, and I get a little bit better, with dialogue, and I have a little bit more that I could share, that I could actually, I just don't want to read something and tell you this is what it is. I want to know for sure if it's FDA approved, if it's this, if it's that, if it works, if it's, so on and so forth. But the most important thing I could say right now to anyone who's just starting off on this is just treat yourself well. Just treat yourself well. Just treat yourself well. Just forgive yourself, love yourself, let go of all the crap inside of you, and make it your goal to get well. Just make it your goal to get well. And that's it for today, guys. So I just want to say it's Saturday, so have a great weekend. I do Blog Talk Radio. I'm supposed to be on at 11 o'clock tonight, Eastern Standard Time, and again at 8:30 tomorrow morning. My topics include like fitness and health, and what we're talking about here, and adoption. So if anything, if you ever want, those links are on my Facebook page also. And I am on Twitter also, CathieCats, same thing, CathieCats. So for that, ciao.